Okay, so here's 1.1, level 1, and it's just determining slope from a graph, 2 points, or from an equation when it's in slope-intercept form. So just to review, slope we know is rise over run. So how fast does it go up, and how fast does it go left or right? It can also be defined as the change in y or the change in x, and when we say change, we mean subtraction. So if we're looking at these examples here in number 1, it says find the slope of the following lines. So A is this line going down here. So you want to pick a point that is like on a good axis, not like in between two points. So I would pick points like this one and this one. And it doesn't have to be on an axis, it just makes it nice because it's a whole number where the point is. So I'm going to first count down and then count over. So I'm going to go down 2 and right 1, 2, 3. So the rise is how far up or down I'm going, and I went down 2, so I'm going to put a negative 2, okay, because I went down, so it's negative, and then I went right 3, so that's the run. So that's right 3. So your slope is negative 2/3. Okay, now the next one is B. B is going vertical. So again, let's pick a couple points. So here's 1 and here's 2. So the rise is 1, 2, 3, 4, and you could have counted down 2. So that's 4. And then, but the run is 0. I don't have to go left or right any. So when your slope is over 0, this is an undefined slope. And anytime you have a vertical line that goes up and down, that's what a vertical is. Think about vertical velocity at Six Flags. That goes up and down. So that slope of that line is undefined. Okay, let's talk about C. C is the horizontal line. Think about the horizon. Okay, the horizon is like when you sit at a beach and you watch a sunset. Okay, it's the flat line that goes straight across. So if I'm going the rise, okay, when I have a horizontal line, I don't rise any. Okay, I don't have to move any up or any down, so that's 0. But the run is 1, 2, 3, and it could be really anything depending on the point, so let's call that 6. Anytime you have a 0 on the top, 0 divided by any number is going to be 0. So my slope for this line is 0. Okay, and when you have an undefined slope, you always want to write undefined. Don't put like 4 over 0. We can be more specific and write undefined. Okay, and then last but not least, we want to talk about D. So D is this line going on a diagonal up. So let's pick 2 lines, 2 points. So again, here's a good one, and here's a good one at the intersection. So I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to count right 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so since I counted up from this point, I went up, so that's a positive 4, and I went right, that's a positive 4. Now you could have started from the point that we drew second, and you could have counted left 4, or sorry, down 4, because you want to do rise first, so you would have gone down 4, and then left 4, and when you go left, that's a negative direction. So you could have found the slope to be negative 4 over negative 4. In both cases, they will both reduce to a positive 1. So your slope for that last letter is positive 1. Okay, now if we determine the slope between 2 points, or from an equation, the slope formula is y2 minus y1, basically the change in y, over the change in x. Okay, how far apart are these 2 points from each other? And it doesn't matter what you label as x1 or x2 or y1 or y2, as long as you stay consistent. So if these are my 1s, that's a y1, and x2 and y2. Either way, if you labeled this one as your x2 and y2, and this one as your x1 and y1, your final answer will still reduce to the same number. So I'm going to take 1 minus 6 over 2 minus 5. And I always like to put the second one in parentheses, and I'll show you why in C. C will come up that way. So I have negative 5 over negative 3, and then I just want to simplify this down into 5/3. You always want to simplify your slopes. Same thing for B. So 4 minus 4 over negative 7 minus 1. Okay, so 4 minus 4 is 0. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 8. So remember, when you have a 0 on the top, your final answer is just going to be 0. All right, once you pause and try C and D on your own, and then check your answers. All right, so for C, this is where I said it might be a good idea to put that second one in parentheses. Okay, because what happens is that when you have a subtraction and you're subtracting a negative number like we do in the bottom, a lot of the times students forget that when you have double subtractions, a minus and a negative, it actually turns to be a positive. So this is going to be negative 4 over 0. If you forget that, you're going to have a totally different slope. So just a good idea to put that second number in parentheses so you keep your positive and negative straight. And then last one, when it's in slope-intercept form, remember y equals mx plus b. The slope is in front of the x because that tells us what's changing. So your slope is just 1/5.